Well, hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome back to another live of Let's Chat. These lives consist of no specific topic. All topics are welcome. And we talk about anything. You want to talk about music? We talk about music. You want to talk about movies, new movies, trailers, stuff that you've seen and know about. We can talk about it. Anything you want to talk about is welcome. You want to talk about somebody you've seen on YouTube? We can talk about it. There are no boundaries here. I just ask that, if you're in the chat, to stay respectful. If any of my mods are present and they see that you're getting out of line, they can give you the timeout or they can give you the boot. I respect their decisions. But hey, it is what it is. Like I said, more than welcome. Anything can be discussed on this certain live. And what I want to start out with is movie related. If you're not into that or anything, you can, wait and see what else is talked about, and you might be, getting more involved in that. But hey, I'm a Friday the 13th fan. I know there's a million people out there that love Friday the 13th. Maybe it's not your cup of tea. Maybe horror movies ain't your cup of tea. But they're my cup of tea. I just like to go about the new news that everybody's probably already heard of. We're getting this, I think it's August 13th. We're getting this, I'm going to say it's a commercial ad, but it's a real short film. They're going to show you Friday the 13th, basically. But they can't really call it that because I think it's Paramount owns the rights to the name Friday the 13th. So they've titled it Sweet Revenge. We're going to get a glimpse of the new version of Jason, basically. He's got a new hockey mask, kind of a new design. I've seen what it looks like. I'm kind of skeptic. Me, I'm an old school fan. I think the old school is always going to be the best. But from what I've seen in this little trailer of this commercial type short film, which is sponsored by Angry Orchard, the alcoholic beverage, Angry Orchard. It does look good, but I don't know. Maybe we got to see it. Hey, Kate, what's going on? I guess I'm trying to say I want to see it in action. I want to see it in lighting. What's it look like? Is it good? Can we adjust to this? I don't know, but August 13th, it'll be free on YouTube. I'll post the short film / commercial thing in my community wall / post wall or whatever for you to check it out. Just stay tuned. It will be up there. Of course, if you're on YouTube, you'll probably see it anyways. But if you don't, come holler at me and I'll probably have it for you to check out. True. Okay, August. Yeah, that's what I've heard so far. I think it's August 13th is when it's supposed to drop on YouTube. So we're going to get a new glimpse of the new Jason. They're calling this new thing they got called the Jason Universe. They've got some good people working behind it though, because you got Greg Nicotero that does the special effects for The Walking Dead. He's involved, I guess, probably doing special effects, so that's going to be good. He does a great job on the Walking Dead series and stuff like that, so I'm sure he'll do an excellent job over here. And he's also worked with George Romero on, the old Night of the Living Deads and stuff like that, and a million other horror movies. That man's name is all over the place when it comes to horror. So he's right up there with like Tom Savini and stuff like that. Yeah, Greg is amazing. So I can't wait to see what he does with Jason Voorhees and a camp setting, for Camp Crystal Lake. It's going to be great. But we'll get our first glimpse at it August 13th, is what they're screaming. And from what I've heard on that, there's supposed to be a new Jason movie coming out. It's in the works. They're working on a new video game too. Hell, even Michael Myers is going to get his own video game, but not much update on that end. That's a whole nother discussion. Maybe in October we'll talk about what we know on that. But yeah, they ain't really saying much on that. But only thing I know on that part is that John Carpenter will be doing the music for the video game, which is going to be awesome. We all know John kicks ass when it comes to the Halloween, music in the background and scenes and stuff like that. And he does well in any movie, Escape from New York or, The Thing, all his theme songs for his movies are pretty decent. They're pretty good. So I can't wait to see what he does with that. One of a kind, that's right. Iconic, legendary. I'm with you on that. We've got, I guess all I can say is we got Daryl Dixon coming up. I think it's September 7th or 8th. Third season. They have renewed it for season 4, which will be the final season. And there is a little bit of talk running around. Not much concrete information. But Lauren Cohan has eased it out there. There has been talk of a big reunion coming between, Rick, Daryl, Carol, Maggie, Negan, and whoever else is probably still kicking and breathing at this time. They're not really spilling too much on it, but everybody's wanting it. Mostly everybody's wanting that Daryl and Rick reunion, because Daryl has no clue that Rick is even alive and back kicking around, at home. He has no idea. Yeah, I hope so too. I hope we get that closure. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for that Daryl and Rick reunion, because at the last time we seen them two together was Rick on the back of the bike with Daryl, and that was 2018. That was right before Rick, left the show for a while and blew the bridge up and everything else. That was it. That was the last time we seen them. So it would be good to see them, lock in on each other and be like, holy crap, because Daryl's going to break down, because that was pretty much his brother. No, it wasn't Merle, but they fought like they was brothers. They agreed to disagree sometimes. But and it really did something to him. Emotionally, it did something to everybody for real. Even though Rick was hot-headed and would get him in some shit, but sometimes you got to stop and think before you jump, and Rick liked to jump before thinking, and that's what got him introduced to Negan real good. He got a little cocky, a little big for his britches. Oh, let's just go in there. We ain't never had a problem with confrontation, or fighting other groups. Well, next time, Rick, do your homework before you just run in and start offing everybody. In your mind, you're like, oh, it's only 10 people. I'm pretty sure it ain't nothing. Come to find out, Negan had a damn near, over 100 or more. Do some homework, Rick. He didn't have that voice to, like he did back in The Governor. He didn't have Herschel there to get through to his head like, hey, Rick, maybe we should stop and think about this. And that's what Rick needed. He needed that Herschel figure to keep him from jumping the gun. But we're also getting another season of Dead City. It's going to be weird how that goes. I was disappointed in the ending for real of season 2. I'm just going to say this right here. The only thing I can say, as far as the Herschel character, somebody needs to take their belt off and just whip that kid's ass. I'm just putting it out there. The way he treats Maggie, which I can understand, and you're going to sit there and side with a psycho, all because Maggie didn't give you enough love. Yeah, she had revenge on her mind. Yeah, well, somebody take their belt off and just bend this kid over and just wear his ass out, for God's sakes. I mean, come on. That is one of the characters in this show that I cannot stand. And I hate to say that. I loved Glenn to death. Glenn was my man. He was my number 2. If I was a Rick Grimes, Glenn would be my number 2. Because he was all about the, trying to do the right thing, and but he would get just as dirty as the rest of them. I can guarantee that. Yeah, just whip this kid's ass. I don't care. Negan and his redemption story, I dig it. I mean, I seen it coming. Ever since he was put in the cell, it's going to break him. It's either going to break you or you're just going to. But he's always going to have that old mentality in him, no matter how much as he tries to fight it. Sometimes you're going to have to resort to that way to get people to understand. If not, they're just going to, roll over or just run over on you. And I don't know. But we're getting another season of that. I can't wait to see the direction they're going to, because we got Maggie, we got Negan, we've got what's that guy's name? I keep forgetting. Is it Percy? Yeah, I think that's his name, Pearly or Percy or something like that. Pearly, the black guy, but not being racist. I'm just saying. Yeah, I think it's Pearly. Well, now he's running with Maggie and Negan. His cover's blown. And we got New Babylon soldiers marching down the street looking like the Commonwealth. So I don't know. New York is up for the taking. It's going to be a battle in New York. Then Daryl and Carol's going to get trapped in Spain. And probably make it home at the end of season 4. They'll probably, if they don't make it all the way home, they're at least going to run into something or somebody at the end of season 4 to go ahead and close that series out. We got to remember that the little boy that was sent to the States, in the airplane, we don't know if he ever made it with the guy in the airplane. I didn't forget the guy's name now, but hopefully they made it and was able to get to the Commonwealth or whatever, Laron or whatever his name was. I hope that's who Daryl runs into when he gets back to the States, and has a few others with him. Yeah, the French kid. Yeah, there you go. That French kid over there. I dig it. But that's the hot topic for movies and stuff like that. I have seen some new movies. I just posted. I went and seen Fantastic Four. I liked it. Just my little short review on it. I liked it. It's a lot better than the previous 2 that come out years ago. I like it because they stuck more to the comic book look, and it was good. It was good. It was all right. I've seen the new Superman. No, I don't know. I mean, come on. I don't know. My Superman was Henry Cavill, and you're not going to get no better than probably Christopher Reeves. You know, but let's not count the original. George Reeves and all that stuff. But as far as Superman, me growing up was always Christopher Reeves, and my Batman will always be Michael Keaton. I don't care what you say. There's no debate on my end on that. And but I did have respect for Ben Affleck's Batman and Bruce Wayne. I did like that, But I don't know. It's just Michael Keaton's my Batman, and just like Jack Nicholson's always going to be my Joker. But that's me. What did I think of the new Superman? Well, my honest opinion about the new Superman is I seen where they were trying to go with it. If you remember the old Christopher Reeves Superman movies, you know how they had that somewhat of a comedy aspect to it, kind of like Clark Kent, had that nerdy, like when he was, working at the Daily Planet, sometimes he just had that, he would play like he was, how can I put it? Play like he's dumb, but really he knows exactly what's going on. He had that nerdy aspect to him, right? And that's kind of what they did with, who's the new guy? David is it Cornsworth or yeah, David. They were trying to give that old school Superman feel, how the movies go. Like as soon as the movie starts, you're right in action, There's no, they didn't show really any of, there's no origin story in this one. No Smallville. Ma and Pa Kent is in it. But he's already been Superman for a little while, so there was no need to travel to Smallville and get reacquainted with the origin story. It is what it is. We were introduced to the dog, Crypto, which come to find out that Superman was actually babysitting for Supergirl, which shows up at the end of the movie, drunker than a skunk, because her thing is she likes to travel to planets that are only surrounding like the red sun because she can get drunk. So basically they made Supergirl a damn party animal, but her movie comes out next year, so we'll see where that goes. Yeah, so she showed up drunk. That comedy. But they introduced you to Crypto the dog. I mean, it just played like, kind of like the older Superman, which I dig it. And, the suit, I'm glad they brought back the the red underwear look, and stuff like that. They tried to make it look like, a classic Superman, old school. Put the yellow symbol back on the back of the cape and stuff like that. Give it that nostalgia feel. That's cool. That's what really got me into it. Basically not so serious, right? You was introduced to the Hall of Justice, so the Justice League is there, but they don't go by the Justice League. They're calling themselves the Justice Gang, or something like that, or the Justice something. They're not the Justice League yet, so things have been established. Just not Batman or anything like that. There was a teaser in there of a highway sign that said Gotham City so many miles this way. There was a tease, but yeah, we're not fully established on that end yet. So I don't know. Oh, Crypto, yeah, Crypto the dog, yeah, he's something else. He's something else. But I think the one that stole the show in the movie was the character Mr. Terrific. He was the one that stole the show, basically. You just have to see it, and you'll probably understand the reason why I said that. But I have seen the new I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's if you're wanting to see it, I'm not going to spoil it for you. It's a decent watch. I mean, all I can say is it pretty much plays like the original. Just I guess you can say more modern day, but there is a surprise at the end. I'm not going to get into it. You'll just have to check it out for yourself. I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it, but they went there. They went there with it. So, no spoilers. I'm pretty sure if you look online, you'll figure out what I'm talking about. But if you just want to go in, no spoilers, just straight in, open minded, that's probably the best way to do it, for real. But Jennifer Love Hewitt looks good. Freddie Prinze Jr. is still on top of the game, even though he hasn't been in anything in quite a while. I mean, hey, what can I say? I ain't seen one of his movies since what was it? She's All That. But it's good that they're I don't know, they're trying to reboot all these old franchises like that. The 90s stuff in the 90s and stuff like that. That's cool, Hey, enjoy it. Enjoy yourself. I'll be on here just a few more minutes, ranting and raving. If you miss what I talk about, you can catch it on the replay, gang. Enjoy yourself. But as far as the movie talk, that's pretty much it. I mean, video game walkthrough. I don't know. I might put a little bit more out tonight. I'm working on a game right now called Alan Wake. It's Alan Wake 2. It's an insane game. It just check out my page or whatever, and you'll see some live gameplay of it. It's going to be a trippy game. It's psychological. It's weird. 1 minute I'm an FBI agent, the next minute I'm the writer that's resurrected from the black hole of the ocean or the lake, and I mean it's going to go in all directions. Insane. It's wild. We're dealing with a cult that's killing people in a small town. They're finding these pages. It's like when the writer's writing a story, his story is coming to life. Literally, what he writes comes to life, and you'll see how it affects the characters along with the gameplay. It's a wild game. I try to play games that would be good movies. That's got good movie cinematics to it, and that's what I like to play on my channel. Something you can sit back and be like, man, that was cool. And I'm actually choosing the options in these games. So what I choose is going to determine what's going to happen and how I play it. I'll try not to get killed 1,000 times, but sometimes I get a little wild in there and don't have everything I need. And sometimes I get a little Rick Grimish and get to jumping before I think. But I guess the last thing I'm going to talk about, and it's just random, it's out the box. But like I said, all topics is welcome, and we all know it, and we think it's funny, it's entertainment. I just get a kick. I do, constantly seeing these same people on these creators, and that's what they are. They're creators. I'm not gonna diss them for trying to be a creator, but these fake homeless people. Oh my God. We've got genres of crazy on YouTube. You've got your genre of scammers, and then you got your genre of fake homeless people. You've got your gimmick crowd, your gimmick genre that's always hiding behind some kind of gimmick. I just want to touch on the fake homeless people. I think it's wrong. I think you're disrespecting real homeless people. Should feel bad, that because you get some of them on here that ain't homeless. They got curfews. I'm gonna just go ahead and say that they got curfews. They're only homeless in the daytime until their curfew hits. Then they go home or go wherever they're staying. These motherfuckers got places they're staying at, but they only out and about during the daytime. It's almost like a shelter. You got to get up and get out of the shelter. Well, that's the way it is here in my city. They'll wake you up 6:30 in the morning and throw your ass outside, hoping that you'll, try to better yourself. But these people down here just want to mooch around and live at the shelter, basically because they ain't got to pay rent, shit like that. Free food and everything, free laundry, all that stuff. They got no responsibilities. And most of them are, I hate to say it, but I've talked to people that's lived down there, that 90% of them are sex offenders, biggest part of them. But anyways, yeah, these people got curfews. Because 1 minute they, and they really don't be dressing all that rough. They don't even look homeless for real. They just look like some random person walking around all day long until it's time to go back home. But they're scamming is what they're doing. And that's all they're doing. They're just trying to get some free money, trying to get a pity party, little sympathy, feel sorry for me. And when things don't go their way, they want to act a fool. Like I said, all the crazies can fit in their own genre. Like you've got your scammers, you got your curfew people, which are also scamming, and they're just doing it to go live to get a reaction. It's clicks and views. At the end of the day, it's clicks, views, entertainment, point, laugh. We'll see you tomorrow on the adventures of the bullshit show. But that's all I can say about that. That's really all I can say. I can't stress it, or I'll just be on repeat. But like I've said 1,000 times, the show must go on, Other than that, I think I'm going to end it there. The show for them will continue. And I'll catch you guys on the next one soon. Story time's coming soon. There you go. I'll catch y'all then.